Hey up, right, as you can see, I've finally got some luggage fitted on the CL500. I'm really enjoying this bike at the moment. I'm not doing the review just yet because I want to get some more miles on it. I've only managed to do about 150 miles so far, so that's going to come later. But one thing I did need to address is the ability to carry things. Now, I know what you're thinking. That looks like a LONGRIDE Super Patriot. You've shown us those before in previous videos. Yes, it is a LONGRIDE Super Patriot. Yes, I have shown you them before. The thing is, last year, people said that they wanted to see the Hepcombe Becker bags on the GB350. I put them on, and everybody hated the mounting system. On the LONGRIDE version, it's very minimalist. In fact, this is the easiest pannier rail I've ever fitted, and I'm going to go through the fitting of this before the end of the video, so bear with me. Now, the reason I've gone for the Super Patriot again is because it looks brilliant. Green and brown goes with anything. These are really high quality, made in Europe. Rutatassen, that owns LONGRIDE, LONGRIDE is part of the Rutatassen group. They've been making bags, formerly briefcases, right since the 1920s. So they've been at this game of making bags for over 100 years now. And, you know, they know exactly what they're doing. I've found these not only look really good, they're actually really practical on a bike as well. They're made from a very heavy duty canvas, which is waxed, and they use a traditional wax mix which contains linseed oil. Now, linseed oil has some antimicrobial properties which helps to resist things like mold, which can be a problem in damp environments for canvas bags. I've got a actually it's longer than that. I've got a 7-year-old smaller version of the Super Patriot that's lived in my garage, which is a very damp place, and honestly it looks almost as good as the day I got it, and it has been used a fair amount. These bags are extremely durable, and for me personally it's the capacity of these bags that are the attraction. Yeah, LONGRIDE did offer me a different bag this time, because they said, you know, you've shown this to your viewers a few times. The thing is, the bag has got to be practical. This is an 18-litre bag that expands to 30 litres if you need it to. That means that Paula can get her helmet in here, you know, if she wants to, and you know, she doesn't have to carry it around when we go anywhere. I have already used this. I put it on Friday because I had to go and pick some parts up from Miles Kingsport. It literally took me 3 minutes to fit it. It's quite an inobtrusive bracket system. You know, it's not in your face when the bag's off, although I tend to leave the bags on all the time. So yeah, we've got a heavy duty canvas which has been treated with a traditional wax dressing. We've got a leather reinforcement box built into the bottom of the bag, which obviously is going to make it tougher and very hard wearing long term. Even if you're taking the bag off and putting it down and scuffing it on concrete, it will last forever. I mean, these are heirloom quality bags. At the moment, there's nothing like them on the market. The straps, again, it's all sort of bridle, you know, horse bridle quality leather. I would say that's at least 2mm, maybe even thicker. Proper heavy duty brass buckles, reasonably easy to unfasten. And if you do find that the capacity at 18 litres isn't enough, you can just stuff the bag like that and leave it open, and you can get a full 30-litre capacity. It's a zip closure, a nylon zip. Now, I have had some problems with the Hepcombe Becker zip splitting. They're metal zips. These are a seamless all-in-one zip, and again, you know, I've been using these bags for years. I've never had any trouble with these nylon zips, so you know, that was another attraction to going back to the Super Patriot. Now, it's a really easy locking system for putting it onto the bike, and it is lockable, so tea leaves can't get away with it. At the back here, we've got the hook system, simple lever, click it and pull it off, and the bag's off, and it's just as easy to put it back on once I get it lined up, and that's going nowhere. Now inside, you've got a feather zip which opens up the back panel, and that gives you access to a lock which will lock the mounting mechanism in place so nobody can get the bag off your bike. Really neat, simple solution, easy to use, and all the security that really you need on a bike. I mean, I know people going about soft bags being no good for security. People can get in them. People can get into anything. I think the art of travelling on a motorcycle is just keep an eye on it wherever you are. And you know, if people want to take it, they'll take it. It doesn't matter even if you've got aluminium panniers. They're easy to get into. So you might as well have something that looks nice, is convenient, and does the job that you want it to do. Now, each end, front and rear, we've got some perforations in the end of the bottom box section, which have a reflective panel in them, so it increases visibility for traffic that's way behind you. And they do have a lock loop on the zip and at the end of the bag. I generally just use airline approved luggage locks. You can lock that up and your casual thief can't easily get into your bag. Now, LONGRIDE say that these are water resistant, and I've been caught in some pretty bad weather with these, and I would say they are waterproof. I've never had water get inside one of these bags, and I have been in some pretty horrific weather over the years. But as an option, if you want a bit of extra security, they do a waterproof liner, which again, you know, it's an 18 litre, but it extends out to 30 litres if you need it to. On the inside, you've got some Velcro panels. It just sticks onto those. Tuck the bottom of the bag in. And you've got an extra layer of water resistance with a drawstring closure on the top if you need it. As I say, they're an option. You pay extra for those. My personal view, I've actually just taken this out of the plastic bag and I've had it for about 5 years. My personal view is you're probably never going to need it. Now, for convenience, you can, again, another option, you can buy a strap that fastens onto D-rings at either side of the bag so that you can carry it over your shoulder, but it does come equipped with a leather carrying handle, so when you get to your destination, I don't know, hotel, campsite, bed and breakfast, whatever, you can just carry your luggage in without having to unpack it all from your bag. Now, the way it fastens on is with this double hook system called a click fix. These are a proprietary fixing for luggage. As far as I know, well, LONGRIDE are the only ones I know that use it. I've not worked with any other companies. Now, because this takes all the weight and it's fastened to the back of the bag, we've got some sort of engineering grade liner in the back. It's a hard back, but it's also L-shaped, so it continues all the way to the front along the bottom. That means that, you know, the bag will keep its shape. You're not putting too much stress on the actual canvas. Well, you're not putting any stress on the actual canvas because it's that hard plastic, and it's quite substantial, that hard plastic liner that's taking all the weight. Now, although the clip system is plastic, I did some research on this for a previous video, and I can't remember exactly now what it's made out of, but it's some sort of high grade engineering grade resin, which is incredibly strong. The strength of this stuff is almost as good as steel, so really robust system. Obviously, with it being plastic as well, you're not going to have any problems with corrosion or whatever in the future. I can't praise this bag and this system enough. I've found it to be indispensable over the last few years for travelling around. Even if it's just for carrying camera equipment, etc. I can easily get a tripod and a camera and spare batteries, waterproof. You know, it's like a TARDIS inside it. It will just swallow up whatever you need to carry with you. Paula also likes it when we go shopping. You know, she can get a fair bit of stuff in there. Now, the one thing that everybody's going to mention is I've only got panniers on one side because obviously we've got the big exhaust on this side. Now, I don't have a problem with that. You know, we've got, as you know, we've got a top box going on this bike with a rear racking system. So we're going to have ample storage. I'm not quite sure what capacity the top box is, but it's big. It's big enough to get a helmet in without any problems. So we've got ample carrying capacity on the bike. I don't need a bag on the other side. Now, I do have an exhaust option coming for this bike, one that everybody has requested. It hasn't arrived yet, but we will get on with that in due course. Although it does lower the exhaust, so you could theoretically get one of these on. Because of the stock configuration of the bike, I've had a look around. No one is making a right-hand carrier for this bike. It's just simply not worth it to them, because the amount of people that will actually be getting rid of the exhaust to accommodate another bag, you know, the amount of people are going to be so small that it's simply not worth them producing one. It would be nice if they did, but you know, that's the situation. The only option you're going to have really is a throw-over type pannier to be able to do that. It doesn't bother me. You know, I don't mind the quirkiness of that sort of you know, asymmetric luggage configuration. I actually quite like it. It's a little bit quirky, but I actually quite like it. But we will be dropping the exhaust down. The main thing is obviously that we've now got a rack to go on. Now, what I will say is the rack uses the same fastening points on the bike. So this has to fit over the racking system. That's going to be in a different video. I've had a look at it. It can be done. It's not a problem. There are some parts that come with the fitting kit for the LONGRIDE pannier rack, which look to me very much like they were designed exactly for that situation, although they say that it's not designed to be fitted with other accessories. So we've got that to come. Let's get on with the fitting. As I say, I've shown you these bags before. They're just, you know, I had a really good look around and I just cannot find anything else on the market that I'm confident enough to travel with. And these bags are fantastic. I can't praise them enough. And I just wasn't willing to take the risk again of fitting something that I was unfamiliar with that didn't really work out quite how I hoped it would. You know, the Hepcombecker bags are okay, but compared to these LONGRIDE bags, you know, it's chalk and cheese. There's just such a huge difference. And you all said that you hated the SIBO system, so you know, we're back to minimalism. Right, let's get on with fitting this. Now, just before we get into the fitting part, can I ask you please, leave a like if you're enjoying this video, hit the hype button if the hype button is available to you, and subscribe to the channel if you're new or you've been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed. There are other ways that you can help me out via my Patreon page, PayPal donations, or via the super thanks button down below. Thank you. Now, Honda actually, they've worked out a really simple, easy, sensible solution for fastening both your rear rack and panniers on, if you know, that's what you want to do. We've got simple mounting points here, and that's all there is to it. You know, this part of the frame is designed to take the weight of a rack and or panniers. They've got blanking bolts in them already. Now, the one thing that I did come across when I was talking to Andy Miles Kingsport, he said to me that a lot of customers that buy you know, either the pannier systems or the rear rack systems in, they have trouble getting these off. They are very tight. They're very tight, I've got to admit, but you know, it's no problem getting them off really. As far as I can tell, there's no Loctite on them. They've just been tightened up well and truly at the factory. The problem that people seem to be having is they're damaging the hex sockets. It's a 6mm Allen hex socket. They're damaging them trying to get them off, and then they're getting themselves into a bit of a jam and they're having to bring them into the dealership to have them removed. I had a look on the Honda forums, and this seems to be a very common thing. Now, what I think is happening, because I know from when I've done reviews on the tools that I've been using recently, this Wearer kit, Wearer socket set, people favour cheap tools. Now, the brands that I always get thrown at me, people say, Stuart, you're wasting your money spending 80 quid on a set like that when you can go to Aldi or Lidl, and for like 15 quid you can buy something that's just as good, made in Germany, and you can do any maintenance that you want on your bike. You really can't. I mean, I bought a little kit. What will it be? I think it was before I actually started this channel. It'd be about 12 years ago, something like that. It looks good. It seems handy. It was a set of T-bar Allen and Torx heads. But as I've discovered it, and if you've followed this channel for a long time, you'll have probably seen it, the tolerances, especially in the Allen bits, are not quite what they should be. They tend to be a little bit undersized, just to make sure that they'll fit in the respective sockets that people are using them for. And the result being, if you come across a tight fastener, what it tends to do is just chew it up. I remember being a bit puzzled the first time this happened on camera, and quite a few people jumped in and said, if you're buying them from Aldi or Lidl or any of the other cheap tool manufacturers, the 5 and 6mm tend to be a little bit undersized. So when you put a lot of pressure on it, it'll immediately just bite into the hex in the fastener. They're okay for putting flat packed furniture together. Seriously, if you've got anything resembling a stubborn or a tight bolt on a motorcycle, keep those kind of kits well away from your bike. Invest in a decent set of tools. It's going to save you a lot of hassle in the long run. I know you'll get away with these things most of the time, but it's just that one time where you fall foul of the the dimensions not being quite right. That is the time that it will cost you money. You will pay for the fact that you bought cheap tools. Get good quality tools. Now, as I say, I've had a look at this because there are all sorts of suggestions on the forums that they're using too much Loctite on them, or they're over tightened, and it's Honda's fault. It isn't. It's the fault of the cheap tools that people are using to take them off. Get a decent toolkit. Right, so as I say, I mean, these are tight. You've got these on both sides, obviously, because you're going to need to put a rack on at some stage, so you've got the same fastening points on the other side of the bike. Good, proper fitting 6mm Allen key. Goes with a crack. Oh, as you can see, well, hopefully you can see, there is no Loctite on these threads. It was just put on tight, which is par for the course at a factory. Don't risk causing damage to your bike or causing yourself a big headache just because you don't want to pay the money for good tools. Good tools cost money for a reason. Right, so in your kit, you'll actually find a choice of two different bolts. There's a long bolt and a short bolt, and there's also two spacers. If you're just fitting this onto your bike without a rack, you just want the two short bolts and the two washers that come with the kit. The others put to one side. We'll go through them later on, because obviously the others we're going to have to utilise for putting this on over the rear rack when it's fitted. So, I mean, this is a really simple job. As I say, I had to do this on Friday because I needed the capacity to carry some bits. Now what you'll see immediately, and this is the same with all pannier kits, when these are made, when they're welded, they're welded in a jig, but as it cools, things start to warp a little bit. So you will find it might not quite marry up initially. So just get your threads started, and what that'll do is that'll just compress that in. That's perfectly normal. I've never come across, to be honest, I've never come across a pannier rack where everything just went straight on. You've always got to just sort of jiggle it about a little bit to get everything lined up, because like I say, when they're cooling, after they've been welded, a little bit of warping just creeps in. So make sure that your threads are engaged properly. This is an M8 1.25 thread pitch. And just tighten them up bit by bit so that you join them both in equally on both sides. Nice and evenly, so it's just pulling those two fastening points in. I mean, I probably spent more time talking to you on this than it would have actually taken to just fit it. It's literally a 3-minute job. So yeah, the two shorter bolts with the washers. Good thing about using a mini socket set like this as well is you can't put too much torque on it and do any damage. Nice and tight. That's now solid as a rock and you're ready to go. That's really all there is to it. Right, so I mean, I know people were probably hoping for something different, but I only get one crack at it with each bike, and it's important to me that I have the tools to do the job that I do, and the Super Patriot is that tool. Now I do have a mini Patriot in the same colour with the same locking system, so you know, if need be, if I don't need to carry so much, I can put the mini Patriot on, which is a smaller capacity bag. But I just found this size the most useful. You know, long ride, they know the business. This is a fantastic bag. I know I've heard some people say that the green and the brown doesn't go with some of the bikes that I've got. Green and brown goes with anything, and we are going to be fitting a brown comfort seat on this bike, so it's all going to key in very nicely. The other thing is, you know, people say about, you know, it's a fairly modern looking bike, the too retro. No, this is not retro, this is classic. This is, you know, classic quality equipment, which looks good with anything. You know, the boots that I'm wearing, the original design probably came around, you know, the late 1800s, but, you know, you can still wear them in modern terms, same with jeans and t-shirts and everything else. You know, some things just never go out of style, and the LONGRIDE Super Patriot is one of those examples. Now, just to scotch any comments in the comments section, clearance for the pillion. She's tried it, she's been on here with the bag. We didn't go anywhere because until she's got more security, Paula doesn't want to ride on the bike, but she's got ample room for a heel on here. She may touch the bag with the heel of a shoe occasionally, so what, it doesn't matter. This is the kind of material that is just going patinise and mellow with age. It doesn't matter if it picks up a few scuffs. I'm not interested in keeping it looking like it just came out of the factory. That's part of the charm of this sort of equipment. So yeah, there's plenty of clearance for a feet on there. The other thing, I mean, a lot of people left comments last week before saying these bikes are no good for pillions. We did try it with both of us on, just as I say, in a seated position, because I, you know, after all the comments I got, I thought, oh, maybe she's going to struggle with it. She loved the seating position. It is intimate. You know, you have to sit a little bit closer to each other than you do on some of the other bikes, because I think the seat is just a little bit shorter. But she actually found it a really comfortable seating position. The exhaust isn't in the way. You know, I think a lot of people, they just look at things and they form an opinion in the head that it's not going to work. So that becomes the truth to them. The truth is, in her opinion, this bike is going to work out pretty well for both of us. So once again, thanks for watching. I am going to be back on Friday. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet. Until then, if you're riding, ride safely, and I'll see you soon.